We are officially into the eye of the 2343 transpersonal storm. If you spend the last 24 hours feeling like your brain is a radio tuned to 5 stations at once, you're not alone. The Freak to Genius transit is peaking right now. From today until May 15, 9 a.m., simulation is pushing us to turn chaos into clarity. In this video, I'm breaking down the daily shift from May 12, 0 a.m. So you don't have to just survive the mutation. You can master it and comprehend it. Now, on to the continuation of my dream so that you can get your genius inside out for the collective transpersonally. Now we go to the actual transit. So I left you here with this little section of the 23. Let's go see what happened. So the 45.6 shifted from the 45.6 around 3 a.m., 4 a.m. So we are turning projected gathering of tribal leadership that I explained in the previous video into the awareness and recognition that true tribal survival and evolution requires integrating outsiders, new ideas, and mutative influences into the tribe. So unlike lower tribal lines focused on preserving cohesion, here we try integrate outsiders. So the core themes, is this need to integrate outsiders, foreign influences, new bloods, and conventional perspective. And its healthy expression is the innovation for the tribe by finding ways to integrate outsiders for the collective benefit. So this leadership recognizes mutation necessary for survival. And its shadow is accepting outsiders only if they conform completely to tribal norms and control structures. So we have this tension between the change for what the tribe can tolerate without losing itself. So this is the 45 shift. So what we output anymore is no longer the projection that we can gather, but rather this trying to absorb. This is still inside the 23.3. But now let's go beyond. The last thing is gonna shift. So we have the 23.1. So we move from the 8 gate, so direction, so people projecting you to you that you have direction, into Mercury, communication of personal insight, much of like this 23 Sun, but this is a Mercury. So this line is the foundational drive to express and explain individual insight in a way that can transform, challenge, or replace existing ways of thinking. So this is the foundation of the I know and must explain it. And its self-expression is wise expression of insight that serves a large transformative process, even when it challenges accepted norms of dogma. This line is called proselytation. And its shadow is the insight expressed in ways that become intrusive, offensive, destabilizing, or socially harmful. So the key tension is communicating transformative insight in a way that can be received versus becoming rejected as dangerous, offensive, or destabilizing. So the thing that we are converting into these new beginnings is no longer the direction. We know our direction now. We are trying to convert this need to express ourselves into those new beginnings. Let's go beyond. So you see a massive shift. I was watching a Eurovision, by the way, which is very much so of this crazy genius to freak experience, which is not about the quality of the sound and the music itself, but rather the individual expression of the genius that comes out. By the way, this is a channel that's deeply auditive. Deeply auditive, so it fits perfectly. So we have this 23.4 and 43.4. So what shifts is, we're going to start from the Earth again. 43.4, it's called one-track mind. So genius and freakiness are closely linked together individual circuitry. This is still individual circuitry, it's just the effect is transpersonal, fits onto people you know. The very behaviors the society may label as odd are often part of the mechanism that produce unique insight. So this is a very fixed individual knowing that becomes externally expressed in a rigid, repetitive, or highly resistant way. So, here we have it's only the exaltation. So only the 33 itself. So strong conceptual clarity, the ability to hold and develop a focused insight long enough. This is all about making it fixed, making what you are thinking, the genius, the freak fixed, so that you can produce those insights that are meaningful or transformative and occasional breakthrough level thinking. Even if socially resisted, you stick with those insights. You stick through it. This becomes the new domicile of this 23-4, which is very fitting. So those are insights that are for people that you know. After you've trial and error them in the 23-3 of yesterday, basically. And we're gonna get to the 23.4 Sun, which is called fragmentation. So this line externalizes individual knowing in a scattered one-track way, very similar to the 43.4, without the capacity or pressure for synthesis into a larger whole. So is LT expression, we have both here, both the result and the detriment. The LT expression is intense, unapologetic expression of insight, a fearless, damn the consequences, quality in sharing what is known. And the shadow is rejection by the collective that leads to disconnection, doubt, or paranoia, or existential isolation. The feeling that what is known has no value or will not be understood. You might have felt that a bit closer at the end of the 23-4, like I felt this fear that nobody's gonna understand this. Basically, around 7 p.m., basically when it's approaching, you know? When it's approaching, I felt this energy. Was not pleasant at all. So I felt it. You might have felt it too. So this becomes our new sun, and we have this. Now let's go beyond. So you see, the Mercury shifts. The Mercury shifts from the 23-1 to the 23-2. So we convert a new energy to those new beginnings. So at this time we get projected. It's called self-defense. Needs to be called out. This is a self-expression that needs to be called out. This light projects individual knowing outwardly and instinctively, and it struggles between preserving authentic self-expression or suppressing it to avoid rejection. So this projects I know. It's not as internal as before. It's projecting. It's still internal, but it's projecting it outwardly. And if you call it out, people will speak about it, basically. They will speak their insights. So its healthy expression is fiercely protecting one's individual truth and expression, and being a bit reclusive with it. And the shadow is silencing oneself in order to maintain harmony, avoid conflict, or escape rejection. So the central dilemma here is, do I preserve my individuality or sacrifice it in order to be accepted? So this is the essence of this Mercury. So we will convert this into this 53. But now you're about to witness something beautiful. So first of all, the Venus is no longer tribal. We're no longer going to talk. I'm gonna get by the Mars first because I believe it makes more sense. So the 42 shifts from the 42.5 to the 42.6. So we get 42.6 energy. After we have been projected that we have the energy to do stuff, we will experience a different type of thing. We do get the line distance at the end of the experiential growth process, questioning whether experience, growth, and sharing are truly meaningful or valuable enough to commit to. So that's the expression of this line is a natural capacity to nurture and support the growth of process of others, sharing experiential wisdom and developmental energy when genuine value is recognized. So what we did during this week of this 42 Mars, that we put our blood and energy into Mars's blood, and its healthy expression is this, and its detriment is withholding energy, growth, or resources, because the 4-6 line is quite detached. You can do that, becoming materially protective, isolated, or distrustful of the value of sharing our experience after we completed this growth process, because this is the gate of completion. So I like the third line. This one hesitates, it observes, evaluates, and wonders if the process is truly worth the cost. It's basically the husband or the wife to this 53. But this is the energy to complete, not the energy to begin. But you will get this massive resonance between the energy to complete, the total awareness of the energy to complete, and the total awareness of the energy to begin. And this is the second set. And our second domicile is going to shift from our little 44, 54, 45 sits into the 12.1, which is exalted. This is a line of socialization. This is a gate of socialization. This is a gate of another individual channel. The 1222 is an individual channel. This is socialization. This is called the monk. This line is the foundation of individual emotional withdrawal. So after we do all this gathering, we need to withdraw a little bit, you know? Because we put our blood, we're a bit exhausted. You're gonna feel a bit exhausted near the end of this. Protected contemplative state where expression is withheld until the correct inner mood for mutation arises. So a bit of isolation, restraint in speaking, socializing in that aspect. So this is not social withdrawal for its own sake, but a mechanism for preserving clarity and timing. It's self-expression, and we will have that expression. It's exalted here. It's beautiful. Is withdrawal that is stable, supported, and balanced, allowing inner refinement and beauty to emerge without external pressure. So we withdraw a little bit to get a little bit into ourselves and see and reflect a bit on the process with all the 6 lines about all the stuff that we began and the stuff that we completed. This is going to be the result of this 23. After we externalize our insights, the result of us externalizing our insights is retreating a bit into ourselves. So you see, we are in the 13 here, 13 day, 13 May. So this is a massive shift. This is a massively beautiful shift. The Jupiter, the essence of this 23, shifts from the 53.6. So the state that we began, we began it. It's now going to begin again. Now we enter to the 62.1, which is a gate in the throat. It's called the gate of details. It has to do with processing data. So it's called routine. This line is the foundation of logical awareness, where detail, structure, and factual clarity emerge through repetition, internal testing, and mental simulation before anything gets expressed outwardly. This is going to stick for a while, so I'm going to read it a little bit more in depth, as Jupiter is a bit slower than the other planets. So this line builds the base of logic through consistency and routine processing. The main thing this thing does is, has this pattern been fully tested in its every possible variations? Everything you try to begin now needs to be tested again and again to see if it logically makes sense. This is basically the scientific process. You test the variations of it mentally. Its self-expression is rich internal visualization and imaginative testing of logical patterns, the ability to explore many possible outcomes before committing to a conclusion. So you need to just test everything, get the data of everything. This is all about data. Turning repetition into insight rather than boredom, because this thing can be boring. You need to test everything. You need to not get bored with it. Shadow expression is rebellion or waste of energy through premature externalization. So you need to test before you output it. And you have the externalization here in those 4 lines. Trying to convince others before the data structure is verified, or over-reliance on external validation instead of internal clarity. Basically, you want to make it as factual data certain as possible. You want it to be fact proof. This is the gate of the facts. That's how I like to call it, at least. The tension is, do I refine and test the pattern internally, or do I rush to prove it externally? So you want the accuracy here, basically. So we have the shifts, go beyond. The 23 shifts, the Mercury that's going to be converted into this 62.1 is going to become the 23.3, which I already explained yesterday. I'm going to give you a little, very short recap of it. Is the trial and erroring of I know. So the insight is going to be trial and error before it's expressed. We convert this capacity to express our insight, to try and error the expression of our insights into this fact checking. We want as much fact checking as possible, so we will test the speech for it, basically. So trial and error of this individual expression that attracts attention without triggering threat. This is what we're gonna do for the duration of that Mercury. Now we go beyond. Okay, now we get to a line of universalization. So we will have a beautiful thing. We will shift from the double exalt and detriment of the 23.4 to the projection of the 23.5. and projection of the 43.5. So we have 23.5, 43.5. I'm gonna read it. Progression. These lines about the strategic timing of sharing individual insights. So after we externalize with the people we know, we try externalizing with everyone, and we try to put it to a test, to its final conclusion. The fifth line, it's all about putting a thing to its conclusive potential, finalizing it. So this is projection. We will get a lot of projection both for our insights and for our testing, for our expression of it. So the knowing is not the issue. We already figured that out before. The issue is, can this knowing be received by as many people as possible, or well, as practically as possible. Fifth line is about practicality. So empty expression is gradual step-by-step adaptation to relationships, because the fifth line is conscious of its transpersonal nature, so it adjusts to the other in order to do its process. Careful timing and sequencing to disclosure, so the insight can actually land and be accepted. Understanding people deeply before expressing truth. And its shadow is over-focusing on maintaining harmony or being liked, delaying or suppressing truth in order to preserve relationships, resulting in missed opportunities for breakthrough expression. This is the shadow. Let's go beyond. The 23, the Mercury shifts again. So now we have again the fixed knowing and paranoia of expressing our insights of this Mercury, of communicating them, converted into the fact checking. So we will express the insights with the people we know, so that we can externalize and put it to its practical test. But let's go beyond. The Venus shifts again, so the result shifts again. So this is called purification. So this is instinctive withdrawal of expression. I'm not in the mood, / don't approach me. So this is a socialization that needs to be called out. It's no longer trying to play safe like the one before, the 12th one, which is a literal monk. This is trying to select. This is not withdrawal for clarity, this is social filtering. So you have potential for pure, precise articulation when mood is correct. Reactive social withdrawal or boredom masking uncertainty. So, it does this thing. This is the emotional gatekeeper of expression. So you will have this energy. So the distortion is, I withdraw because I'm clear, versus I withdraw because my emotional field is not stable enough to engage. This thing wants emotional clarity. So it needs to know when to speak. So we'll have that as the result. We're gonna get a little more out of the social isolation of the 12-1. I start speaking a little more again, at least socially. The difference of this is expressing knowledge. The 12 is expressing socialization as a way of being pleasant, socializing as talking about one's individual mood. So it's a different thing. So we're going to talk about the mood with this 12 gate. We're going to talk about the mood of this 43, 12, 23 experience that we are going through, all those crazy insights that we are processing. See, this is a time where less things shift. I'm not seeing much. This is a more stable time. So the thing that shifts again is the 23.5, which conjuncts the sun. So we convert the projected expression, self-expression, into this fact-seeking. Everything is focused on this fact-seeking. This is the essence of what we'll be processing in the transpersonal period. This is a massive shift. So you see the sacral energy, this chakras energies, mostly disperses. We had a definition here for a while. It's gone. Now it's gone. The components here are gone. Now we have the 3-1 Mars, which is the exile to this 12-2. So there is a consolidation after the sharing or not of our growth of the 42 sits, that does in fact become something else, synthesis. So after we have done all those experiences, we're gonna have a little bit of confusion. We're gonna have confusion. So we will have dissonance over time. We get confusion not as a problem state, but a baseline operating for emergency, because the third line, it's all about order, cementification of order. This is a gate that wants everything to stay still. This is the most conservative gate of the whole I Ching. So we will try conserving what we created. As the result of that, we will try also expelling that converting that conservation that we produced into this social energy that needs to be called out. So this is the energy of I must not be confused, creates rigidity, premature conclusions, breakdown of synthesis. So we're trying to put order to our experiences of before with this 3.1 Mars. So confusion, the correct alignment, the good thing you want to do is that confusion is neutral raw data, awaiting for a pattern to form, awaiting for clarity. This is the acceptance that life only becomes intelligible after it has already reorganized you through confusion. So we will try finding order. We'll put energy to find order in what we did. It's going to be a little withdrawal after the crazy push that we had with this 5342. I've done a lot of stuff in this period. Now we enter to the final process. So we enter the final stage, the stage of clarity over this cycle of the genius to the freak. So we have the 43.6. It's going to be exalted, so it's going to be beautiful. This is going to be a very blessed moment. It's called breakthrough, literally, so it's amazing. So this is the line of final stage of individual knowing, those crazy insights we have been going through, where the focus is no longer understanding or expressing those insights because we understood them in the first part of the 6-day cycle, especially with the 43.3, and we externalize that to the people that we love or wish to be loved by. With the 43.4 and 43.5, now it's external. Now we try to understand, to gain clarity if these insights that we outputted does actually produce genuine mutation for the collective, for the world. Does this knowing transform anything, or is just mental knowledge stimulation? You know, this is a knowledge, knowing that wants to change the world. That's one of my ambition with this. You know, I've been going through this process as well. So it's gonna be exalted. So we're gonna read the alt expression. Sudden, complete breakthrough of awareness. You will get clarity, internal and external restructuring based on new mutative realization. You get this realization is gonna restructure you. Wipe and reset quality, where outdated structures are discarded once true knowing, this perfected knowing arrives. So this is going to be beautiful. This is going to be the thing we struggled through. Getting this clarity is going to be a blessing to struggle through it because it's hurt, you know. Well, the 23 side actually fragmentation, fusion. This is called fusion. This line sits at the transition point of individual expression of knowing, when fragmented insights must eventually become integrated into a unified synthesis of producing true mutation. So this is a quality that, you know, same thing. Does this knowing lead to mutation or just fragmentation in its expression, though, not in its mental aspect of thinking the thing, you know? Its empty aspect is gradual accumulation and integration of diverse knowings. So we will compare, you know, I've been listening to a lot of crazy freaks like me, all the people that have been getting crazy, producing their mutation. I've been listening to them. I love that. We will mix and match all the things that we have liked of this transit, of the crazy people that we listen to, that are geniuses to us. So the gradual accumulation integration of diverse knowings, building toward a coherent synthesis that eventually enables powerful mutation and expression, and knowing that matures slowly requires time, experience, and accumulation of perspective. While its detriment, withdrawal from the process due to doubt, fatigue, or inability to see everything fit together. We are trying to make everything makes sense in its expression, leading to stagnation, withholding, or loss of expressive power. The same tension is, do I keep gathering fragmented knowings in hope of synthesis, or do I abandon expression because it never feels complete? I recommend you to stick with the process and trust that everything is going to make sense. Now we enter a little bit of externalization of third lining, 12.3. This is my design sun gate. It's very strong in me. So this is trial and erroring of socialization. It's called confession. It's called confession. So emotional trial and error of expression, of this expression that must convey emotions, not just knowledge. 12, it's about expressing emotions. It tries to reach to emotional plex. So you get this feedback loop where expression meets emotional resistance from the other and produces self-correction through pain. So this is the mind that tries to repair its own failure of timing and resonance. So you will try to express yourself socially, you will fail, and it should not become I am wrong, it should become timing or context was wrong, which leads to future expression, because then it's going to shift to the 12.4, which is going to be important. So you don't want to hate yourself. This is by design. So this is so painful for me to do. I hate myself so much when I express myself in the incorrect timing, and sometimes I do not forgive myself. Try avoiding that. We're almost out of the sequence. This beautiful 3-day cycle we have gone through. Absolutely beautiful and stupendous. You see, this process takes for a while until we get to a new Mercury, which is a call out to what's going to happen in the next 6-day cycle, the 8.1 in detriment. Let's get to the detriment of this. It's called honesty. It's in the G center. It has to do with throat expression to the identity. So this is about recognition of limitation. I cannot be everything alone. That's what it says. It says individuality exists, but it only becomes real through selective sharing. This is the gate of contribution. Individual insights expressed for the collective, but they are individual. Or, well, they are individual in the sense this is not about knowledge in itself. This is about a personal identity that is expressed. This is about your true self-expression that is expressed, not just your true knowledge. Literally you, like stylistically. This is all about style, that sort of stuff. And we have the detriments. It's not going to be the most of pleasant. So it's going to lead to a bit of isolation, distrustfulness, lack of receptivity, stagnation of expression. So fear that sharing means that we are going to get absorbed and we lose boundaries. And thus we self-control, we self-censorship too much and we withdraw. This is the discipline risk of revealing uniqueness as one's personal style in a world that always tries to standardize it. And we're going to fear it's not going to be the most pleasant, but stick through it. Stick through it. Try avoiding its most negative aspect. So we have almost completed a year. The 12.3, 12.4, 12.3 will shift into a 12.4, 12.4, which is going to be massive. This is the profit. Socializing to people that you know. Emotional timing that is aware. So after we trial and error all the socializing, which is the output of this 23 clarity that we got, we'll try socializing through knowing when to know exactly when to speak to make people feel good by what we say. So you have this quality that you want to recognize when silence must become speech for the collective movement to resume. So you want to know when to speak, basically. And basically, when it's exalted, you get grounded for social necessity signaling. So you know when to speak. Something must change now. You will feel it. The awareness that stabilizes speech. While the detriment is the articulation is fragile under pressure of timing uncertainty. So you struggle with getting the right timing. And this can produce stutter, blockage, or inability to encode the timing, the exact timing that you need into language, which is no lack of insights. We already got those insights with the 2343, but failure of transmission. We have almost ended, literally. Now we reach the end, you know? So I told you it's 9 p.m. because this is the beginning, you know? This is the beginning of it. So this is where we end it. This is where it shifts. And I can see you next week